It's one of the chief fairs that made the name of contemporary art. There's still just as much of a buzz about it as there ever was.
There's an incredible energy in London at the moment.
London in Britain has been the centre of artistic activity for 10, 15, 20 years now.
The art world is punctuated by just a couple of key moments in the year, and London is very fortunate to have one of those moments each October.
The Frieze personality is just all about the fall. You know, with Miami, you're escaping reality, going to the beach. London is so beautiful in October. The leaves are orange. There's still some sunshine. So it's just amazing to experience the whole city. And the fair really ignites this week and makes it all happen.
The galleries, the museums, the private collections all put on, an incredible event. The best shows of the year are happening at this time, so it's a great way to come in, and see a lot.
Welcome to London. I've come here specially for the Frieze Art Fair, which is one of the highlights of the global social circuit. It's held in a little-known neighbourhood in the heart of central London, which is one of my favourite places, Fitzrovia, because this is where I grew up.
Fitzrovia is wonderful because it's got the contrast of old and new. It's becoming trendy. There's a lot of artists who've moved into it, a lot of actors here, but there's still sort of traditional shops that you get.
The context itself is kind of outstanding as well. You are in London, but you don't think you're in London. It's in a park. It's very human scale.
Fitzroy Square is the green space at the heart of Fitzrovia. And from the outset, this neighbourhood was really aimed at the well-to-do. In fact, the park was built entirely as a marketing tool to lure the wealthy to live in the grand mansions that were built around its edges. Today, the tenants are just as Tony, albeit a little different. There's a whole load of embassies, and word is Madonna, who bought one of the houses just over there as her London Kabbalah HQ. But the name of the neighbourhood, Fitzrovia, is not actually in honour of this grand square. The reason behind that belongs to another local landmark, a very different one, just around the corner. So what's the neighbourhood named after? Since we're in England, you won't be surprised to learn. It's named after the local pub. In the 1920s, when this area was being colonised by artists and writers like George Orwell, Nina Hamnet and Augustus John, they spent a lot of their time in the local pub, drinking and probably doing a bit of creative thinking. So they gave a name to their neighbourhood that honoured their favourite place. Fitzrovia is the Fitzroy Tavern place.
You're here in the middle, if you like, of a central part of London, an aesthetic part of London, the Bloomsbury set, if you like. What people have done is brought culture and arts to Regent's Park.
Fitzrovia is a very local neighbourhood, but in the centre of London, so a little untouristed compared to some of the other parts.
Yeah, but for some reason tourists don't venture north of Oxford Street, and they really should, because it's the undiscovered gem, and here is where you should be.
To tackle an art fair like Frieze, it's crucial to get some tips from some real art world insiders. I feel like I need to be studied up on art to come here. Is it okay to be a newbie? Do you know, or do I need to read a few art books? How do you know?
Oh no, it's absolutely perfect introduction. I mean, the reason that I started working in the art world was I think I went to the second or third edition of the Frieze Art Fair back in 2004, and I'd just never seen anything like it. There was just such an eclectic sensorial assault under one tent. An awful lot of amazing art, obviously some awful stuff, but it's a great way to initiate yourself and to kind of generate some enthusiasm for the art scene.
London, everything is so spread out. It's not like New York where you can just go to a couple of neighborhoods like Chelsea and hit all the galleries. Geographically, the whole London art world is spread over the whole of London. So you need to sort of do a bit of research, figure out what makes sense in terms of doing this group of galleries this afternoon in this neighborhood and then moving it. And if you do a bit of prep work, it'll be much easier.
Do you need stamina? How do you train for Frieze?
You definitely need stamina. You have to watch your nutrition before, you have to sleep a lot, and then you have to really be prepared for a very intense week of 5 hours of sleep maximum, and everyone is serving champagne everywhere. You have to pace yourself.
Do people really drink the champagne in the middle of the afternoon, or is it just for decoration?
The English drink the champagne, the Americans tend not to.
Really?
But, yeah.
So to look like a local, you should drink the champagne?
You should drink the champagne, yeah.
My big tip is no hard liquor. Keep it beer and wine, you'll be all right. Because the hangover is an affair and the lighting just doesn't work.
What's the big insider secret to survive Frieze, enjoy Frieze?
Juice diet for 3 days beforehand because of all the champagne I'm going to be drinking.
You know, this is a serious business. You know, if you're here to sort of hang out, that's fine, then the champagne's for you. If you're here to look and discover artists, but really discover artists, discover new things, then you know, you need to get on your trainers and, you know, pace the floor.
on.
Exactly.
You have to get all over the city to get to everything.
I'm a journalist, and so I just don't drink alcohol at these things anymore because I have to go home and write. So I've just given away my trade secret. I will be remembering everything from this conversation.
As a first-timer, I would say to pay as much attention to the gallery openings as to the fair itself, because UK galleries tend to make a bit of a statement with the show that they put on during Frieze. For instance, we're opening a young LA-based sculptor called Matt Johnson. It's the first solo show that he's had in Europe, and we've opened it during Frieze to show our commitment to Matt. We think he's one of the most brilliant sculptors working today.
What's your big hard-earned lesson about the Frieze week?
I think the thing that needs to be perhaps considered when you're thinking about going to Frieze is that you can't do everything, but everything will come to you. So it's a very zen kind of position. But I think if you don't run, then you probably won't be able to achieve all the things that you want to at the same time. So it's a balance in that, really.